When details sell the product, product images are judged differently than any other visuals. They must look clean, intentional, and trustworthy. Every shadow, highlight, and angle affects how the product is perceived, premium or cheap, clear or confusing. In this lesson, you'll learn how to design product images deliberately in Midjourney by combining parameters with the right lighting, composition, and viewpoint choices. What do you think makes product images powerful? Lots of elements to create variety and an interesting look. Intentional framing, the right lighting. What makes a product image work? Strong product images usually share a few qualities. The product is easy to read at a glance. Lighting highlights form and texture. Nothing distracts from the subject. The framing feels intentional. Achieving this isn't about adding more words. It's about setting the right constraints. Think like a product photographer. Before writing the prompt, imagine a real photo shoot. Ask yourself, where is the light coming from? How close is the camera? Is the product centered or staged? What mood should the product communicate? Your prompt should answer these questions clearly. Scenario: premium skincare product. You're creating visuals for a premium skincare brand. The images will be used on a website and in ads. The product should feel clean, modern, high-end. We'll start with a safe, controlled setup. Why is raw mode often useful for product images? It adds more creative effects. It keeps details clean and realistic. Yeah, it increases variation. Why raw mode matters for products. For product images, you usually want less interpretation, not more. Raw mode reduces Midjourney's tendency to overstylize, exaggerate colors, add artistic textures. This makes surfaces, edges, and proportions feel more realistic and controlled. Lighting that sells. Lighting is one of the most important elements in product photography. In prompts, lighting affects how glossy or matte a product looks, how textures appear, how premium the image feels. Dramatic lighting creates many unnecessary sharp shadows around objects. For clean product images, soft, controlled lighting usually works best. Composition: less is more. Product images rarely benefit from complex scenes. Let's see how removing distraction helps improve the pictures. Why is no props useful here? It improves lighting quality. It keeps attention fully on the product. It increases creativity. Clean composition means one clear focal point, balanced spacing, no competing elements. In prompts, this often means explicitly saying what isn't there. Choosing the right viewpoint. Viewpoint controls how the product is perceived. Common product viewpoints include eye level, neutral and realistic, slight top-down, clean and commercial, close-up, material and detail focus. Extreme angles often distract unless used intentionally. Which setup is best for clean commercial product images? Raw mode, low chaos, and controlled lighting. Abstract lighting and extreme angles. High chaos and high weirdness. When is it appropriate to explore and try different parameter values for product images? During early idea exploration. When experimenting with styles. When preparing final visuals for a website or ads. Exploration versus delivery. You might still explore early on, trying different moods or materials. But once a direction is chosen, product images should be repeatable, consistent, predictable. That's when tightening parameters matters most. Designing product images with intent. Strong product images aren't about luck. They come from intentional lighting, simple composition, clear viewpoint, restrained parameter choices. Once these elements work together, Midjourney behaves like a controlled studio, not a guessing machine. What you can do now. You can now Design clean, commercial-ready product images. Choose lighting and angles intentionally. Combine parameters to protect realism. Scale your setup across multiple products. This approach works for skincare, care, tech, fashion, and beyond. Next steps. As we move further, you'll explore how to create extraordinary marketing visuals that attract customers, drive engagement, and make your CTA stand out. See you! Images that stop the scroll. Marketing visuals have a different job than product photos. They don't just show. They interrupt, attract, and persuade. In a feed full of noise, your image has seconds to communicate value, emotion, or curiosity. In this lesson, you'll learn how to design bold, memorable marketing visuals in Midjourney. Images built to work in ads, landing pages, and campaigns. How marketing visuals think differently. Strong marketing visuals usually prioritize emotion over realism, contrast over subtlety, clarity of message over detail accuracy. This doesn't mean chaos. It means intentional exaggeration and clear focus. Start with the message, not the image. Before writing the prompt, define the purpose. What should the viewer feel? What action should they take? What stands out at a glance? Your prompt should reflect the idea first. Visuals support it. Scenario: online ad for a fitness app. This time, let's suppose you were offered to design visuals for a fitness app ad campaign. The goal: grab attention in a feed. Communicate energy and transformation. Feel bold, modern, and motivating. This is not simply a realistic photo shoot, but a message-driven image. Why is higher chaos often useful for ads? It creates more variation and visual surprise. It locks consistency. It improves realism. Why chaos helps marketing visuals? Unlike product images, marketing visuals often benefit from variation and surprise. A moderate chaos value can introduce unexpected framing, create stronger contrast, make images feel less predictable. This helps visuals stand out in crowded spaces. Adding boldness with weirdness. Weirdness pushes ideas beyond the expected. Used carefully, it can exaggerate emotion, create striking metaphors, make visuals memorable. For marketing, weirdness should support the message, not confuse it. What changed most after increasing weirdness? The image became more realistic. The visual became more exaggerated and expressive. The composition stayed identical. What changed most after increasing weirdness? The image became more realistic. The visual became more exaggerated and expressive. The composition stayed identical. Lighting that commands attention. Marketing visuals thrive on contrast. Effective lighting choices include strong directional light, rim light to separate subject from background, dramatic shadows. These techniques guide the eye instantly. Composition that feels powerful. Marketing visuals often use dynamic composition. Common techniques: off-center framing, diagonal lines, close or low viewpoints. These create motion and intensity. Designing a marketing visual system. Strong marketing visuals often combine Expressive prompts, higher chaos for variation, controlled weirdness for memorability, dramatic lighting and angles. Together, these create impact without randomness. Which setup best fits the bold marketing visual? Raw mode plus minimal lighting, flat lighting and centered framing. Moderate chaos plus controlled weirdness plus dramatic lighting. And where these visuals work best. This approach is especially effective for social and targeted ads, landing page hero sections, campaign banners, app promotion visuals. Each context benefits from clarity at a glance. What matters most for a landing page hero image? Immediate visual impact and clear emotion. Maximum detail. Perfect realism. Designing for impact. Powerful marketing visuals don't aim to be subtle. They are designed to stand out, communicate fast, and trigger emotion. By combining the right parameters with intentional lighting, composition, and viewpoint, you turn Midjourney into a marketing design tool, not just an image generator. Wrapping up, you can now design eye-catching ad visuals, use chaos and weirdness with purpose, guide attention through lighting and angles, adapt visuals for ads and landing pages. These skills help your images perform, not just look good. In the next lesson, you'll learn how to enhance your blog and social media stories with the right visuals. Stay tuned. Images that carry the story. Images for blogs and social media play a different role than ads or product photos. They don't need to shout, they need to support ideas, guide attention, and extend the story beyond words. In this lesson, you'll learn how to illustrate blog articles and social content using images that feel intentional, readable, and connected to the message. Let's go. How editorial images work. Strong editorial and social images usually aim to clarify an idea, set a mood, create visual rhythm across content, and keep the viewer reading. They rarely show the exact thing being described. Instead, they suggest, frame, or symbolize the message. Scenario: illustrating a blog article. Imagine you're illustrating a blog article about work-life balance rules. You want something conceptual, not literal. Do the images you got meet the requirements for perfect blog visuals? No, something is missing. Yes, they are good. What do you think is the main issue with this illustration? The idea feels vague and generic. The format is wrong. The colors are incorrect. Why this happens? Abstract prompts sound good to humans, but they give Midjourney very little to work with. Phrases like representing balance, conceptual illustration, symbolic image don't describe a scene. Midjourney works best when it can see the metaphor, not invent it. Turning an idea into a visual scene. Instead of asking for a concept, describe a physical situation that embodies the idea. For the topic of balance, that might mean two contrasting environments or objects, one shared frame, a clear boundary or transition. Let's try that. What makes the second image stronger for a blog article? It uses more detail. The metaphor is visually clear and specific. It's more realistic. Why this works for blogs. Strong blog illustrations don't explain the article. They visualize tension, show contrast, and create emotional context. A clear metaphor lets readers understand the theme instantly, and then continue reading. Applying this to social media. The same rule applies to social media, but with tighter framing. Images still support storytelling, but the story must land faster and clearer. The challenge is the same as before, visualizing an idea, but the execution changes. Scenario: Instagram page for a local bakery. Let's say you're managing an Instagram page for a neighborhood bakery. They bake great bread and pastries and want to grow on Instagram. What's the main problem with this page? The lighting in the images is wrong. There are no problems. It looks like many other bakery pages. The quality of the images is low. What actually builds connection? For local businesses, people don't just buy products. They connect with routine, craft, atmosphere, small human moments. Instead of asking, "What do we sell?" ask, "What does being here feel like?" Why does this image work better for social media? It hides what the bakery sells. It is more dramatic. It shows atmosphere and values. Stories are about presence. Another place to apply this approach is stories. That's where followers feel inside the business, and close moments matter more than polished scenes. Make the image come alive. Remember the animate image feature? This is the perfect moment to try it out. Here is what we get if we try the high motion option. What changed between the feed image and the story image? The focus shifted from product to process. The viewpoint became more intimate. The bakery disappeared. The message changed as, notice the difference. The feed image shows the place. The story image shows the process. Together, they tell a story no cake photo can. What to show instead of another cake. For local business pages, strong content often includes preparation moments, tools and textures, early or late hours, traces of work. For instance, for the bakery, it's flour, crumbs, steam. Quiet scenes between customers. These images feel lived in and memorable. Why some images stay with us. The strongest images in this lesson didn't rely on novelty or polish. They worked because they had a clear metaphor, a specific moment, and a mood that matched the message. It's about shifting from showing content to communicating meaning. When an image shows how something feels, not just what it is, it becomes memorable. Originality comes from perspective. Original visuals don't come from unusual subjects. They come from small human details, traces of process, and contrast between spaces or states. These choices make images feel lived in and intentional, instead of generic or templated. Next steps? In the next lesson, we'll explore how to illustrate stories, creating visuals that work for books, comics, and other engaging formats. See you then. Images that belong to a story. Some illustrations explain a story, others feel like part of it. When images truly belong, they don't compete with words or summarize events. They quietly shape atmosphere, guide emotion, and help readers imagine what isn't said. This lesson will tell you how illustration choices affect immersion, and how small decisions can pull a reader closer or push them away. One world, many moments. Illustrating any big, long story, like a book, means returning to the same character and world again and again. Scenes change, emotions change, the story moves, but the reader must always feel, I know this person, I know this place. Scenario: illustrating big volumes. Today you're illustrating a fantasy novella. Before working on chapters, you create a single anchor image that defines the main character, the overall visual style, the level of detail. This image will guide every illustration that follows. Keeping identity stable. You can now pick and use one of these images as an omni-reference. This feature helps keep the same character across chapters. It works for people, objects, or creatures. You can control how strongly the reference influences the image using omni-weight. The default value is OE 100, and it can be from 0 to 1000. Chapter 1, A Quiet Beginning. The story opens with a calm, reflective moment. The traveler walks alone at dawn. Chapter 2. Tension builds. In the next chapter, the traveler enters a dense forest. The world feels darker, and the mood is more tense. This is where many projects break, by changing too much at once. What changed, and what stayed the same? Illustration style drifted. Character stayed recognizable. Surroundings stayed the same. Mood and lighting changed. Chapter 3. Emotional peak. Later in the story, the traveler reaches a dramatic turning point. This scene needs stronger contrast, tighter framing, and more emotional weight, but still, the same person. Why do you think the omni weight was increased here? Stronger emotion and contrast compete with identity. To add randomness. To change the style. The rule you just discovered. As scenes become more expressive, lighting grows stronger, contrast increases, chaos rises. You often need to slightly increase the omni reference weight to protect identity. From prompts to a system. Look, you're no longer writing isolated prompts. You're reusing one character reference, one style language, one prompt backbone, and making small intentional tweaks, mood, lighting, chaos, framing. That's how books stay coherent. Illustrating at scale. By the end of this lesson, you've learned how to anchor a character using omni-reference, control identity strength with OW, change mood without breaking style, and manage variation across chapters. This is the difference between generating images and building a visual world. When readers recognize a character before they think about it, your system is working, and that's how long-form illustration succeeds. Wrapping up. This brings the Midjourney guide to a close. You've moved beyond trial-and-error image generation and learned how to work with intention, shaping visuals through clear prompts, thoughtful constraints, and consistent creative systems. You now know how to write prompts that communicate ideas, not just descriptions, guide lighting, composition, and viewpoint to support a message. Use parameters deliberately to refine and control results. Apply Midjourney to different creative goals and real-world scenarios. From here, the next step is practice. Collect your best work, experiment with longer projects, and start building a portfolio that reflects your visual thinking. You're leaving this guide with a practical skill set and a creative framework you can return to again and again. Good luck.